Since my general thoughts video on the game, I've been playing Smash a lot more. Honing my skills with my favorite characters, working on getting better with some that I like, all that jazz. But in all my battles of the game, there's a character I've been gravitating towards more and more. One who I like so much, I'm going to consider one of my mains by having them join S tier. That character being, well, you can see in the title of the video, it's Hero. I've been enlightened in how good he is, or rather how good he can be, and decided that he deserved a video of his own to make up for me not throwing him at 7, or 8 now, in my general thoughts vid. So here we are. A not entirely comprehensive guide on how to play Hero well-ish. This is gotta be fun. So, you wanna play Hero, huh? Well, there's some stuff you need to know. Firstly, he's a decently heavyweight with a nice dash speed and acceleration, but lacking airspeed and walk speed. Well, that's all boring stuff. If you really want to play Hero, you need to make a very important decision that will affect the rest of your life. Which alt you use. For some reason in Sakurai and the Smash you only gave Hero 4 alts. I'm not sure why they chose to do it, but I'm sure there's some good reasoning. Anyways, each of the 4 alts says something different about you, so you gotta choose a good one. If you want to look like a Dragon Quest fan while not being bullied, go with Erdrick. If you want to look as cool as you can while playing Hero, use 8. If you don't know how to switch alts, you'll go with Luminary. And then there's Solo. He's my personal alt of choice, even though he looks really dumb. But he lacks in appearance, his sword more than makes up for. Just look at that beautiful thing. If you ever fought Hero, you'll know that most of them use Erdrick or 8. That's because they're the only ones that don't look stupid. But if you're playing Hero, you're gonna be doing a bunch of stupid stuff, so you might want to get an alt that reflects that. Before I get into the specifics of Hero, I'll go over his general gameplay and gimmicks. Hero can use his sword and spells to combo and kill opponents, but with 3 big gimmicks. The first is a shield he shares with Link. It blocks projectiles, but I rarely ever find myself using it. Mostly because I'm always attacking or selecting a move, and also because Balance does a similar job better. Following that is MP. All of his spells take a bit of your magic power, of which you have 100 points. The more powerful the spell, the more it takes. You gain back MP slowly over time, or you can instantly get back with sword attacks, in which 1% damage equals 1 MP. The other main mechanic he has is some good old RNG, but we'll get to that later. Let's go through all of Hero's moves individually, starting with his tilts and stuff. His jab is a very quick attack, and typically serves as a good out-of-shield move. For some 3% in MP. His F tilt is a 2-hit sword swing that serves a pretty similar purpose to jab, with more knockback, making it function as a get-off-me move as well. Be warned though, while it comes out fast, this move has about 2/3 of a second of end lag, so if it misses, you're gonna get punished. His up tilt is really similar to most of the other swordies, being a massive upward sweep. Unlike the other swordies though, it's more of a knockback tool than a combo tool, and mostly fills a similar role to F tilt, and for hitting foes on platforms. His down tilt is really weird. It's a downward slide-ish move, similar to Cloud's, except it doesn't actually move him anywhere. It seems like it'd be a good combo starter, but it's a bit too much end lag for it to be rated that. If you hit your foe with it, the move's nearly over, it can set up for a nice combo, but that's rather situational. Most of the time you should avoid using down tilt. Jab does most of what it does better. Rounding off his tilts is his dash attack. Hero's dash attack is one of his best kill moves for sure. It kills at around 80 near the ledge, but can kill much lower with some spells. However, it is incredibly slow, with 1/3 of a second of startup and half a second of end lag. So you'll probably get punished pretty badly if you miss it. But with all that range and Hero hurling himself at his opponent to use it, you can really catch some enemies off guard. Use dash attack sparingly, but don't forget about it. Aerials are a big part of Hero's kit, as they're gonna be what you use to get most of your MP and initial damage. His Nair is a really solid combo tool, or something to throw when you don't know what your opponent will do next. It's a huge swing around Hero's body, similar to Ike's Nair. It can lead into all kinds of combos. His Fair is by far his best non-special move. Hero does this colossal swing with his sword that hits everyone in front of him, making it great to approach with. Fair is another one of Hero's best kill options, killing it around 100 near the ledge, and it can also be a great combo finisher. Nair can combo directly into it at high percents, and a down throw can lead to 2 of them at 0. One of the best uses I found is to get accelerate and just lob your opponent off stage, and then kinda just throw yourself at them while doing a Fair. With how long the move lasts and how fast you're moving, you're basically just throwing yourself into a cannonball. It is really funny to play out. His Bear fills a near identical role to his Fair, and may even be better at it. It has more range to kill sooner, but it's considerably slower. Because of this, it's better to pull out at high percentages, like when you want to perform the flying wall of hitbox. Hero's up air is friggin' weird. It's similar to his down tilt in a lot of ways, with both of them being weak moves that involve him kicking his foes. But unlike down tilt, this one's actually good. It's a solid combo tool that leads into his Fair and Bear pretty well, which functions as kill confirms at high percents. Wrapping things up is his Dare. It's his most powerful aerial, but only serves one real purpose: spiking. The spike hitbox is way larger than it looks, and can easily kill most offstage foes at early percents, especially with oomph. On top of being incredible offstage, a ground spike can lead into up smash, killing medium weights at around 50 most of the time. I also need to briefly cover the Hero's throws. I don't have much to say about them because they all kinda blow, but whatever. Firstly, his grab is the second shortest in the game, only being beaten out by a plant. So if you want to get a throw in, you need to get real close. His forward and backward throw are basically lobs that don't really set up into anything, and mostly just exist to make space. His up throw nicely combos into an up air or nair, and then that can be followed up by a fair or something. His down throw can combo into fair or Kafrizz on a heavy foe at 0. Nothing to write home about, but I just needed to cover them. Based on his basic attacks, you can get a general idea of how Hero's built. He's got a lot of decent to great kill options, but lacks a bit in comboing, with most of his moves being slow and doing a lot of knockback. Luckily, he makes up for this with some other tricks. Speaking of, it's time to talk about Hero's other main mechanic. When someone asks me how to get good as Hero, I always tell them, learn to get lucky. Now, I mostly say this as a joke, but it's important. I recommend you level up your luck stat before playing Hero. You can do this by grinding weak enemies or by doing what I like to call a command call-off. Basically, when you start a battle, say something along the lines of, an oomph sure would be helpful right now. Now, if you did the spell successfully, you should be able to open command selection and see oomph. This will increase your luck stat. If you fail though, your friends will laugh at you and your intelligence stat will decrease. But like my friends always tell me, you don't need intelligence to play Hero, you only need luck. Alright, bounce. It was there! You saw it! Third option. And what can your luck be used for? Well, for one thing, his smash attacks. Hero's smash attacks are decently strong of their own, but they have a 1/8 chance to be a random crit. We all know how much people love random crits. But just how good is random crit? Well, let's look at his F smash. It's a two-handed swing similar to Iker Ganon, but it's considerably less damage than both of them, killing at around 80-ish. Now, with a crit, this becomes the single strongest smash attack in the game, and when fully charged can one-shot anyone at the ledge. So yeah, they make a difference. Because of the way the crit system is designed, sometimes a Hail Mary smash attack can work in your favor. And if you ever do this against a friend, you probably won't be friends with them for much longer. As for smash attacks themselves, they're a good selection. Like I said, his F smash is similar to Doria, so you know how to use it. His down smash is a quick attack on each side of him, which is really good for catching rolls and other predictions. And then this is up smash. Your boy said that you can combo a spike into it. Yeah, that's about the only time you should use it. Hero has what is quite possibly the worst up smash in the game. It hits directly above him, nowhere else. Even if your foe is staying directly in front of you, it'll do nothing to them. It's only really good at getting foes on platforms, and even then, up tilt does a better job with its sweeping motion. But putting that one aside, Hero's got some pretty solid smash attacks. Even without random crits, they'd be a solid part of his kit.
Oh no, well I have that.
If that was a random crit, that would have been the best random crit I've ever gotten. Hey! Now we get into the moves to use MP, his specials. He has 3 I'll be discussing here because that one needs its own segment. As such, this should be rather brief. His neutral special is a chargeable projectile that can be either Frizz, Frizzle, or Kafrizz, depending on how much you charge it, much like Robin's Thunder. Most of the time you'll be using Kafrizz for its insane kill power. You can only get around 60 near the ledge. That being said, I personally find myself using Frizz rather rarely. There are 4 main reasons for this. It takes a long time to charge up, it has a metric ton of end lag, so you have to be certain it'll hit your foe or you're toast. It takes a whopping 36 MP to use, making one of the most costly spells. And most importantly, Kaboom is just better than it most of the time. That being said, it is an immensely powerful move, and one I'm probably just not very good at using. Zap, Zapple, and Kazap are Hero's side special, and they are some funky moves. Zap is a really quick burst of lightning, good for getting some damage off, but mostly unremarkable. Zapple is a big old spin attack with some considerable AoE, dealing 20 damage total, which is really nice for 18 MP, and gives it a nice spacing roll. And then Kazap is just something else. It is easily Hero's most costly regular spell, at a colossal 42 MP, nearly half of your total. However, this is also Hero's most powerful, reliable kill option, taking stocks at around 40 at ledge and 60 in center stage. Pair that with its ridiculous range, a complete stun to opponents so they can't escape the first hit, and uninterruptible super armor, you've got yourself a fantastic addition to Hero's kit. Whoosh, Swoosh, and Cuss Swoosh serve as Hero's recovery, most of the time. It works really similar to his other specials with 3 charges. The more you charge it, the further you go. It's worth noting that Cuss Swoosh is better at recovering vertically, while Swoosh is better horizontally, so keep that in mind. The Whooshes can also damage foes, but it's really not something you'll be using that much. Whoosh can be used out of shield, but because it puts you in free fall, you're not going to get any combos off of it. Most of the time when Whoosh damages a foe, it's because they were trying to edgeguard you and got cocky. But a large chunk of the time when this does happen, it results in them getting stage spiked, which is pretty funny. And now we get to the big one, Hero's down B, command selection. This is a move that will pull up 4 of 21 different moves, each of which have their own properties and a way to be used. If I talk about each of them individually, we'd be here forever. So when determining the order to talk about them all individually, I was thinking of putting them through a randomizer because it would be thematically fitting. But then I realized it'd be weird to talk about Sizz, then 12 spells later discuss Sizzle. So instead I grouped the spells together and randomized most of the groups. Sizz. Sizz is a great start, since it's Hero's simplest spell. He'll shoot out a quick burst of flame that travels quickly across the stage, and does some decent damage knockback. It's essentially a faster version of Frizz, and is one of his most common spells. For only 8 MP, it's a good spell to throw out whenever. Sizzle. Sizzle is a more powerful version of Sizz. Who would have thought? Most of what I said to Sizz applies here, except it can actually kill and does much more damage. But to compensate, it costs 20 MP. Best used when Sizz would, but when you have more MP. Bang. Bang serves a pretty similar role to Sizz, but acts more like Frizz in its execution. It's not a simple spell that you throw out for some quick damage, but moves slower and it does considerably more damage knockback. It's easier to dodge due to moving slower, but for only 9 MP, it's still nice to use frequently. Kaboom! Kaboom is more or less a better version of Frizz. It's slower than it, kills a bit later, and costs a whole 1 more MP. But has a way bigger radius, stays out longer, will explode even if it doesn't hit anything, and most importantly, has this goddamn huge wind box right before it explodes. It sucks in anything remotely close to the explosion. I say Kaboom is Hero's best offensive spell, and it's not hard to see why. Just watch out for reflectors. Flame Slash. Flame Slash effectively works as a second F smash for Hero. It serves a very similar purpose, but has much more range and is lightning fast. For only 12 MP, it can work as a great get off me tool, or for a quick kill. Can only get around 90 near center stage. Crackle Slash. The first of Hero's weird spells. Crackle will freeze any opponent it hits, with the blade itself freezing for twice as long as the particles it emits. Much like the other freezing moves like 8 or Icy's down B, there isn't too much you can do with a frozen foe. You could attack them for some extra damage or try to get a powerful spell in for some real damage, but it's entirely up to you, and you probably won't kill them. Use it when you need to stall your opponent or need to get some MP back, since it only costs 11 to use. Hatchet Man. You know Byleth's down B? Because Hatchet Man is basically that. It's a really slow move that packs some serious punch, and instantly breaks the shield. However, it lacks any kind of super armor, is extremely slow, and has a bunch of end lag, making it easy to punish. I try to avoid using this one, but it does have its moments. The best way to use it I found is as a follow-up to Snooze, since you don't have to worry about being punched if your foe is sound asleep. You'd have to be lucky for the two of them to show up back to back, but if you can't get it, it's much more effective than F Smash, as long as that isn't a crit. Metal Slash. I sure am glad this group ended up after the slashes, as Metal Slash serves a nice transition. Metal Slash is probably Hero's second worst spell, because there is almost never a situation in which it's useful. It's a really fast swing of Hero's sword, but has no extra range like the other slashes, and only does 1 damage and near 0 knockback. However, it's a guaranteed insta-kill against metal foes, for whatever that's worth. In a remotely serious game, that situation will almost never come up. However, that does mean it's slightly better in Hero Duos if your opponent has Kaklang for some reason. Speaking of, Kaklang. Hey, it's Hero's worst spell. You thought Metal Slash was bad for doing nothing, huh? Well, how about a spell that actively detriments you? Kaklang will turn Hero into a completely invulnerable metal statue for 5 seconds, but won't be able to do anything during this time. This gives the spell a really weird role. I think Kaklang is amazing in any multiplayer or non-serious game. Because of how much is going on, being invisible for 5 seconds can really save you sometimes, especially against final smashes. Kaklang is practically designed as an anti-final smash move, especially against characters like Samus or Wii Fit. When I say it's invincible, I mean invincible. However, in any one-on-one, it's absolute garbage. It makes you invisible for 5 seconds, on the dot. That means if your opponent can time move well, they can hit you with a fully charged F smash as soon as you come out of it, and there's nothing you can do about it. Avoid at all costs in a traditional battle.
No! Are you fucking kidding me?
Whack. Now these two are probably Hero's most infamous spells. Whack will fire a slow moving ball of purple energy that deals around 3 damage, and be easily blocked by shielding. When it does hit, there's a chance for it to insta-kill the target. The formula for calculating this is extremely complicated, but just know the higher percent both of you are, the more likely it is to kill. This also means that it has a very small chance to kill foes at 0. While the chances of this happening are really low, it is hilarious when it does happen, unless it happens to you. As for Whack itself, I'd recommend using it when your foes at a high percent, or when you want to be funny. It's not the worst spell ever, but it's definitely overshadowed by moves like Bang and especially Thwack. Speaking of, most of what I covered in Whack also applies to Thwack. You can insta-kill with the same formula, it's really funny, yada yada. But while Whack fires a slow moving projectile, Thwack will create a big explosion right in front of Hero with a deceptively large hitbox. This is much better than Whack, as it can hit foes both above and below you, making it a strangely good edge guarding option. Oomph. The buffs are Hero's best spells, clean and simple. They function very similar to the Monado arts, except you need to get lucky to get them, and it can stack. And of the buffs, Oomph is arguably Hero's best. It makes him deal 1.6 times damage, 1.1 times knockback for 10 seconds, but also takes 1.2 times damage. The best way to use Oomph is by simply comboing with it. Remember I said that Hero doesn't have very many good combos? That's because an Oomph 3-hit combo can very easily get someone to kill %. Psych Up. Psych Up is like a weird variant of Oomph. While Oomph lasts for 10 seconds no matter what, Cycle will last for one move, no matter how long it takes for you to land that move. It increases hero's damage and knockback 1.2 times, and shield damage by 1.65 times. You can almost break his shield with an uncharged F smash. Keep in mind that this only works on physical attacks, so you can keep throwing out as many projectiles as you want while it's active. Also, Psychic buffs heroes' throws, making the up and F throw kill somewhat reliably, but it will be wasted on a Pubble, so watch out for that. Accelerate. Another solid contender for heroes' best spells. Accelerate will multiply all of heroes' speeds, i.e. movement, acceleration, jump speed, etc. by over 2 times. I don't really need to explain why this is so good. Being able to run faster than Sonic with the best acceleration in the game makes you a serious threat. Most of what I use acceleration for is running over for a grab and lobbing my opponent and myself off stage and seeing what I can get away with. I remember one time when I was playing with a friend, we were both on the left side of the stage. I had accelerate. I landed F smash to launch them over to the right side of the stage, then did a single jump over the entire stage and spiked them. That was just one of many moments that made me realize I wanted Hero to be one of my mains. Bounce. Bounce is yet another one of Hero's best spells, since it completely shuts down projectile characters. It essentially gives Hero a Franklin badge, making he reflect projectiles without even trying. While Bounce is active, the chance of getting any buff spell other than Psych Up is multiplied by 0.8, so try not to use it if you're not fighting a projectile character. Also, something about the passive way Bounce works seems to make you forget about strategy often, which should lead to amazing clips like this.
What?
I reflected the projectiles for your counter.
Reflected my counter! I countered your bounce reflectile. That. Oh my god, dude, that was like a triple damage reflectile.
Heal. Another one of Hero's simplest spells, and another of his best. Heal will heal Hero 11%, making it one of the least situational spells, as there's hardly a bad time to use Heal. However, there are a finite amount of times you can use Heal in match. Every time you spawn, you get 2 heals to use before they're no longer an option. You get an additional heal every time you KO an opponent. Heal may be a simple spell, but simple healing is never a bad thing. Snooze. Snooze doesn't really fit in with the other weird ones they have in this category, but I really didn't know where else to put it. It was hard to get good footage of Snooze, because every time I used it my friends kept getting angrier and angrier, so I had to stop before something broke. Snooze is a slow moving projectile that puts opponents to sleep, meaning that if you land on someone at a high percent, it's a free stock. Because of how slow Snooze is, it's really easy for opponents to move out of the way of it, so you need to try your best to catch them off guard. Once you get an opponent to sleep, the best way to follow up is with a full charged F smash, especially with a chance of it being a crit. But the funniest way to follow up is to pull up command selection and pray for Hatchet Man, Magic Burst, or even Kamikaze. You'll have to be lucky to pull those off, but if it works, it's a riot. So you can also put opponents to sleep in the air, and if you land that, you probably won't even need to follow up. Zoom. Now we get to the last and by far the strangest of Hero's spells. Starting them off is Zoom. When used, Zoom will send the user high into the sky and land in the random spot on the stage. This is situational, but it really shines in its situations. It can act like a get out of jail free card if you're about to be hit by something you don't want to get hit by, kind of like Clang but actually good. Due to the unpredictability of where you land, you can get the edge on your opponent sometimes and get in a free F smash or something. But it's best used off stage when you don't have enough MP to use cause swoosh. When you're in the blast zone, the odds of Zoom appearing are tripled, so you may very well just open the menu and pray for it, as you might be able to recover with it. And while Zoom is far from the best defensive spell, sometimes shenanigans like this occur. Magic Burst. Magic Burst is easily Hero's most threatening spell. It can be his most expensive since it takes all of the MP you have at the moment, but with every MP it takes, it becomes far more powerful. At 100, Magic Burst covers half of Final Destination and has comparable kill power to a Final Smash, killing from around 50 at center stage. Due to it being shaped like a giant orb, it's also fantastic at edge guarding, since it can completely cover the ledge. However, you have to be wary when using Magic Burst. Since it takes all of your MP, you're unable to recover very well after using it, and you can't use any other spells for some damage. It also strangely has no armor, so you can get hit by one lone projectile and just waste all of your MP. Use with caution. Kamikaze. On the subject of spells used with caution, Kamikaze is similar to Magic Burst in a couple ways. It's other of Hero's most threatening spells, with the potential to kill at around 50, and has a huge spherical range, making it great edge guarding. But rather than taking all of your MP, it takes your life. And 1 MP. Unlike Magic Burst, Kamikaze has the unique property of being unblockable, similar to Lil Mac's KO Punch, and it makes Hero completely intangible during startup. It's a fantastic option to get a cheeky kill when you have a stock lead. Just make sure you don't accidentally use it on your last stock. Hocus Pocus. Finishing off command selection is the single weirdest of them all. Hocus Pocus. It has the lowest chance of showing up at any time when opening the menu, which makes sense considering what it does. When selected, Hocus Pocus will do one of a whole bunch of random things. Most of these are simple status effects like getting flowered or turning invisible, but it's also a chance of getting a different spell from command selection, with all of them, except Magic Burst, being reduced to the measly 4 MP that Hocus costs. This does mean that every time you use it, there is a very small chance of using Kamikaze, which thankfully has never happened to me. There's actually a higher chance of something bad happening than good when using Hocus, so it's far from Hero's best spell, but it's really funny, so I still try to use it every time it shows up. Hocus Pocus. Oh no. Now with all the command selection spells at his disposal, Hero really is a tool for every situation. Now as for the character overall, Hero is a really good fighter. Sometimes. When under the effects of Oomph or Accelerate, he can combo his opponent really fast, and has a wide variety of fantastic kill options. However, because of how luck-based he isn't the best fighter. Since the spells you're always looking for are Oomph, Accelerate, and Psych Up, if you want to play Hero seriously, you'd probably be better playing Shulk. But if you're looking for a character who's fun, stupid, and will always get a chuckle of you, also having a good moveset and flashy kills, you won't find a better pick than Hero.